What's good everyone, it's Yash. I hope you're all having a good time. So today's video is a bit different than usual, sort of a thing that I wanted to try out, and then I thought why not make a video about it. So if somebody else had that thought in mind, this should help them out in some way. Now, as we all know that phones in our camera these days are getting so good, both for photos and videos, and you can easily use them as your main camera for creating online content for YouTube or Instagram or some stuff like that. And I've already made a video on how to shoot better looking talking head shots with your phone, and you can check that out somewhere on the screen there. And after making that video, I have this thought in mind. So it performed really well for talking head shots, but how does it perform for shooting other stuff? For example, if you want to shoot a product or something like that, where you have to, take multiple different types of angles, and how does it perform with different type of lighting and stuff. So then I thought I should make a good looking sequence using my phone. So that's what I did. So here's a sequence that I made with my phone, which is the OnePlus 6. It's not the best one, but still has a pretty decent camera. Now, disclaimer, this is a coffee making sequence, and I know it's not the best option to go for when creating a good looking sequence, but I'm gonna be honest, all the other things that I could think of are already in use for other videos that are incoming, so maybe stick around for that. Now come on, coffee making sequence don't actually look bad, they are just more repetitive in this space, so why not one more? So here's the sequence that I made using my phone. So that was a sequence that I made with my phone, which is the OnePlus 6. It's not the most latest, not the most best phone out there. It's probably about 3 years old by now, but still has a pretty capable, decent camera. It can shoot 4K up to 60 frames per second, which is more than enough for almost every type of shoot out there. Now I made a similar sequence like this using my camera, which is the Canon 80D, to see how much different does a sequence made with phone look when compared to a specific dedicated camera. Now it's not going to be exactly the same, but the flow should be quite similar to it. So I'm going to play them side by side on the screen so you can see them both at the same time to see any differences or anything like that. So here are the sequences, one made with my phone and one made with my camera. Now I want to mention some of the things which I experienced that also kind of held me back when I was using my phone as the only camera to create that coffee sequence. So the first one is you're gonna need a third-party app for manual video controls, as on almost every phone out there, the default camera app doesn't give you manual controls for video, so you'll need a third-party one. And for that, I'll recommend Filming Pro. It's the one that I use. It's probably the best one out there. It's not free, but if you're gonna be using your phone as your main camera, I would say it's well worth the price. It gives you all the controls you'll need from shutter speed, ISO, not aperture, manual focusing, focus peaking, and all that kind of stuff, white balance control, all that stuff. It's a really great app for video shooters and well worth the price. So the second one is limited options for field of view. And this problem may not apply to everyone, as my phone only has a single camera. Well, it does have two cameras, but the second one is depth sensor and that doesn't do anything. So my camera only has a single lens, and that limited me to a single field of view, which doesn't help me in most of the situations. In scenes where I had to get some close-up shots was a bit more difficult to do so, as I had to get my phone really close to the subject to get a proper frame that I was going for. But as a lot of phones these days have multiple cameras like ultra wide or zoom lens cameras, so that should help out in some way. But if your phone only has a single camera setup like mine, you might need to work around a bit more to get the frame that you're looking for. So the next one is something I don't think would happen with everyone, but it did happen for me, so I thought I should mention it nonetheless. So this weird thing happened with me in some scenes where I was shooting. The white balance wouldn't stick to it as I set it to. When I set my white balance to a certain temperature, it wouldn't stick to it in some shots. For example, in the shot where I'm pouring the coffee grinds into the filter, you can see in the background on the table that the white balance is jumping all over the place, and it specifically happened every time for when I was getting that shot. So I'm not sure what's the cause of it. I couldn't get my head around it. I tried to reset the white balance and use another app, but it happened every time I tried to get that shot. Not sure it's gonna happen with you, but still keep in mind about the white balance stuff. So the next one is onboard storage. So this one was probably the most annoying for me, as my phone only has about 64 gigabytes of storage and about 30 gigabytes of it were already in use. So I had about 20 gigabytes to work with when I was shooting all this stuff. And as I was shooting in 4K, so the clips were taking a whole lot more space than regular HD. So which forced me to get the shot, then copy it onto my computer and then delete the clips from my phone to get more space to shoot furthermore. Now this one is also pretty subjective to how much space you have on your phone, but still something to keep in mind if your phone runs on low storage quite often, and this might trouble you a lot when you're shooting with your phone. So the next one is gonna be difficult to shoot yourself as the subject unless you're using the front-facing camera of your phone, which I highly recommend you not to do so. So when you're using the back camera and you're the subject yourself, and if there's no one else to help you around, it's going to be really difficult to frame up the shot and see if you're on the right position and focusing and stuff. That's probably the second thing that annoyed me the most, since I made that entire sequence just by myself. I didn't have anyone else to help me out with. So checking for composition and focusing and that kind of stuff really made taking a shot a whole lot more longer than it should have. So those were some of the things that held me back the most, and I guess challenged me as well. And not gonna lie, this was a pretty fun video to make. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did making it. So that's it for today's video, I guess. Let me know what you guys think of the sequence that I made using my phone. Does it pass as a good looking sequence shot on a phone? And if not, let me know why. And if you want to add anything, just drop it in the comments down below. And again, that's it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in the next one.